This is My Hero Academia Plus Ultra Manga, anime, news and more Plus Ultra.
Welcome to the 5th episode of the My Hero Academia podcast. This week we have a new segment, and then we will be covering anime episode 53 entitled The Test. After that we will be covering manga chapter 191 entitled Dabi, Hawks and Endeavour. My name is Sophie.
And my name's Kendra. And let's get started. Let's jump right into the news segment. Horikoshi, as you've probably seen on Twitter or like any form of social media, was at Comic-Con. He was there July 21st and July 22nd, I think. And we learned some like interesting tidbits just from people asking him questions, and he answered through a translator. Some of the favorite stuff. I'm not going to cover all the questions because there were a lot of them, but just some tidbits are his favorite superhero is Spider-Man, just because he finds him very relatable, and he also cosplayed as Spider-Man once, which is kind of cool. Mineta is inspired by grapes, which I don't think surprises anybody. It is like sticky grapes, so maybe that's a little interesting. And I think what my favorite fact kind of from all this is someone asked Horikoshi, what does a hero mean to you? And he answered, I thought that a superhero is someone who gives you anti-anxiety just from existing. Over the course of my work, that has changed as it progresses, but I think it'll change more. And it's kind of cool that the idea of hero is fluid, but also just like, I love the anti-anxiety line, because that's kind of like All Might in a nutshell, that just existing makes you less worried. And I don't know if, that's a spoiler for manga.
I thought that was really interesting as well. Especially the bit with the smiling, it all makes more sense and pulls it in.
Yeah.
Also, Mineta's sticky grapes thing is disgusting.
Yeah, it's just gross.
You don't want to think about perverts and stickiness.
No, thank you. Horikoshi didn't say sticky grapes. That was me thinking it, but still.
Oh!
And if Horikoshi could have a quirk, he would have Todoroki's quirk, because he hates the heat, so he would like to have a built-in AC. And one very interesting tidbit was that someone asked, Deku's mom is in the series, but will we ever find out more about Deku's dad? And Horikoshi replied, that will be revealed in the future. So fingers crossed for more Mr. Midoriya. Who knows if we'll see him just at graduation like we've theorized before, or if he's a villain, who knows, but apparently we'll learn at least something. And there was some kind of interesting question asked where we've learned that, okay, this is spoilers for the manga, so if you're anime only, skip the next 30 seconds, but that when Toga ingests blood, she also gains the quirk of the person. And someone asked if she ingested Hakakura's blood, would she turn invisible? And Horikoshi said no. And that's had people a lot asking questions about how her quirk works, or whether or not it's always on. And I think it is that it's kind of the same idea that if she were to eat Tokoyami's blood, I think she would gain Dark Shadow, but I don't think she'd get a hawk head. So she can't do the
mutation quirks. I wonder if Shizo, he has the Dupli arms quirk, and where he creates all the arms and they've got his eyes and mouth and nose and things on.
Oh, I don't think so.
That's a mutation. I wonder so his blood would just be useless to her.
I guess I never really thought of that. Maybe she couldn't transform into him at all. Okay, but continuing on, the light novel series that have been coming out in Japan for a bit, they're going to be translated into English. They're going to be titled My Hero Academia School Briefs, which just sounds like underwear to me. I can't see it as anything else. That's going to come out in spring 2019. And we also learn that My Hero Academia 2 Heroes is going to come to US and Canada this September. The English dub is going to be out for the movie September 25th and 27th and 29th. And the original Japanese with English subtitles will be September 26th and October 2nd. So I'll probably see it both dubbed and subbed, just because it sounds really cool. We also know that next week there's going to be a color page and a character poll, because it's going to be the 4th anniversary of My Hero Academia. It doesn't feel like it's been around for that long, but it really has. And also, keep your eye out, because I'm pretty sure that English speakers will also be able to vote in this through the English Shonen Jump. We'll have our own separate poll. So vote for Kirishima, or vote for All Might. I want All Might to win, or Kirishima. I love Deku, but I want someone, because Bakugo always gets second or first sometimes. I'm no, we need to get the true heroes to win.
Oh yeah, he got first last time, didn't he? When we find out how we can vote, we will put it on our Twitter page. Also, the places where you can see the films haven't been released yet. Funimation responded to one of our statuses about that, but when we find out, we'll post that on our Twitter as well. So keep build!
Woo. And we also know, speaking of the movie, there's going to be a 15-page spin-off manga about Melissa who appears in the movie. It's going to be by Yoko Akiyama. And since it's the 4th anniversary, we're thinking of doing something special, but it's still up in the air. We don't quite know what we're going to do yet. But if you have any ideas, tweet at us or email us and let us know what you think. And Horikoshi did a drawing celebrating Comic-Con. He apologized for kind of being nervous or quieter, but it was mainly just because he doesn't speak English that well, so he was very nervous. But he loved it. It was a very cute drawing with All Might. And it also had most of the students in the background as well. Apparently, the 3 that were dancing, it's dance that's to a popular song in Japan. So it's kind of a reference, even though I don't really get it. That's kind of cute. Oh, and one last thing is that My Hero Academia manga nabbed 7 of the top 20 spots on the US monthly book scan for a June list. So manga is really getting very popular. It was also crazy crowds at Comic-Con. So I guess now the industry kind of knows how much people enjoy manga and this series. So hopefully they'll do some stuff about it. I guess just getting the movie here both in subbed and dubbed is really cool. Even for One Piece, it was only dubbed in theaters, not subbed as well. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I watched an interview from Comic-Con last year with Chris Sabat, who plays does the voice actor for All Might, and Justin Brimer, who plays Izuku. And Chris Sabat has been around for years. He voiced his voices in Dragon Ball, and he said that when he's going to Comic-Cons now, people are asking as much about Hero Academia as they were about Dragon Ball. So he thinks that anime, and especially My Hero Academia, is becoming much more, anime in a whole is becoming much more ingrained in pop culture than it ever used to be before.
Oh, and I know the translator for My Hero Academia got notebook that he designed to imitate Deku's Hero notebook. He got that signed. And then also a fan did a similar thing as well. But I think the translator was the only one who did, because it was campus notebook, but Deku's is campos, so it's spelt wrong, and he changed it so it was that, which is kind of cool. And there's been some awesome cosplays at Comic-Con, there are some really cool ones. Someone cosplayed as Hawks. I think I follow them now.
Okay, so now we're going to start our anime segment. So again, this is episode 53, entitled The Test. So I found out that this series is directed by the same person, Kenji Nagasaki, and it's based on a series composition by Yusuke Kuroda. So the whole series will be done by those two, but I think the animation director's changed. But I haven't been able to find out any information this week. If you know where we can find it, please let us know. So the start of the episode, I really liked the start. It's the first half covers manga chapter 102 and the second's 103. But I liked that they didn't go straight in with a small recap of last week's episode. So it starts off with Mei, who's talking to Izuku, Ida and Uraka in the supply room. And she's impressed with Izuku's idea of switching to using his legs. And she gets to work straight away, creating super cute leg baby parts.
Yeah.
She's so busy that when Izuku starts saying he doesn't want the design to change very much, she just straight away interrupts him with a super sassy line, saying a good designer can meet all reckless, ignorant, and ill-advised demands of the client.
She's so sassy already. She's not even an official designer. She already has responses to everything.
I know. I was just ooh la la, May. Say what you really think. It made me think of Mineta last week with his semi-rude comment where he said Izuku should change his whole outfit because it was boring. It made me think that we've not seen Mineta and May interact, but I would really like to.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be interesting. She might be I will make it so you don't have to wear a diaper anymore. And he'll be thank you, and become a better person.
Oh, I just want her to rip on him, but like he does to other people.
Exactly, it'd be very nice.
Power Loader agrees that if May's idea is good, she'll use it, and Izuku just looks aghast. He's really nervous at that. May then starts making some very clever points, that if Izuku needs to change his style, then he should make sure that he becomes a speed type as well. And when she discusses Ida's strength and speed comparatively to Izuku, he says that he's not so worried about that because he already knows how to power up, and that's his move, full cowling, and it will help improve his strength.
I just want to say I love her description of Ida as an armored car with an F1 engine. It's like armored car with sports car engine. It was just like, I love that description of Ida because he's a bit bigger, so he's like a tank, but he's fast. Like if you just look at Deku, he seems like tiny, but he packs a punch.
I'm glad that Horikoshi didn't make like the typical nerd. Like he's not a small, scrawny guy. Like he's one of the tallest in the class and he's really muscular.
He's a buff nerd.
Yes. And then we see, while they're talking, we see a sad-looking Ochako watching their interactions.
Or she's like apprehensive or something. It's like it's a weird expression. It's sad.
I think she's jealous.
Yeah.
Because Mei has got a lot of hero knowledge, and that's obviously Izuku's main passion, and she can't really share that passion with him. So she's just watching on all jealous. And also, she's felt him up, and she hasn't.
And it's also like Deku has such like a clear idea of what he wants to do, while she's just like, oh, I know I want to make myself float, but that's not like Deku's more like a clear guide to what he wants to do, while she's like unsure. So I think it's both. Like she admires that, and she's also jealous that she can't do that herself.
Yeah.
She's very confused about her feelings, and we see that this episode.
Yeah, definitely. So then we cut to 4 days later, and we go back to what last week's episode ended on, but from a different take. So we get the same event where Katsuki Bakugo is using his armoured piercing shot, and it breaks off part of the stone, which then goes to fall on All Might. But Izuku uses his full cowling, he jumps up, kicks it, breaks the stone, saves All Might. However, this time we get an explanation from him of how he created full cowling, and it's inspired by the quick, small, and precise manoeuvres of both Gran Torino and Bakugo.
Yeah, that's what we did. We didn't know before that Bakugo inspired full cowling, so that was cool.
It was in the manga, but it was a very short bit.
Ah, okay.
And so he says that to do that, he would need the least amount of equipment possible, but also the maximum effect from that equipment. He says that he's now got... What is this word?
Arm support braces?
Yes, he's got arm braces, but from my writing, it looks like I've written arm breasts.
I know. I wrote down squick, small movements, and I was like, what is squick, like squish? I was like, what?
Yeah, don't worry, everyone. He hasn't got arm breasts.
That's the next hero fit. Spoiler alert, anime only.
That's what Shezonix creates.
Yeah.
He's got arm braces and iron soles, which can be used for both cleats and armour.
Sorry, a Full Metal hero, just saying.
Woo! If you don't know what cleats are, I didn't know either. And they're the little attachments that you get on some shoes to create traction. So it's what you use in like snow boots and also football and rugby boots. And he's called his new Costume Gamma.
He named it after a gym.
Yeah. None of his other ones are named. There was only the one costume before, wasn't there, that got ripped. But yeah, named after a gym.
Gamma is the third letter, so it's his third hero costume. It's the third letter of the Greek alphabet.
Ah, the more you know. So now at 3 minutes 46 seconds, we get fully into the episode and we get the title. They then cut to Kirishima and Kaminari, and we get the camera's perspective just moves up them to showcase their new costumes. Did you want to talk about their new costumes at all?
Kirishima just has sleeves. In the anime, we don't know why. I think he kind of explains it later on, but he just has sleeves now. But no, it's just like sleeves without the top. And it's like, okay, Kirishima. And Kaminari's just like, I've just seen everyone joking that it looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
Yeah, that's what I put, Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
Cool. But it's interesting.
So they then say that they saw Izuku just sort of waltz in and show off some amazing destructive power. Kirishima's impressed because he thought Izuku was just a puncher. Izuku thanks them, but then he's so sweet. He kind of rebuts their thanks and is like, no, it's all because of Mei and her costume and Ida helping him to learn how to use his body better. Izuku also says that he doesn't have an ultimate move yet, but All Might comes up from behind him and says that he thinks that full cowling could be an ultimate move and it's more than just a stopgap as it's so effective. Eraserhead then reprimands All Might for getting too close, and All Might apologises to Bakugo, who just shouts at him to watch himself before he blasts himself away.
Which is nice for Bakugo, really.
It's nice and it's not nice. This is the thing about Bakugo, that people are saying his character transition, you can take things in a good way and a bad way. But I think All Might takes it as a genuine concern rather than just being plain angry. Because he starts to think to himself that now he's someone that needs to be protected by everyone else. And I like the way that bit was directed, because it really made him look isolated from the other heroes, the other people there, because he's facing both away from them and down, and also everyone else in the background is blurred out.
So it's like, what do you do when you're not a hero anymore? Like, he's just a civilian, really.
Yeah, he probably feels like a burden to everyone else there. So then we go back to Izuku, Kaminari and Kirishima. Izuku mentions their new look, and Kirishima says that Izuku's not the only one with a new style. We see Todoroki, and he's wearing a blue outfit now, and he's got some gloves. We see Jiro, who's got some earphones, and Koda, who has got an eye and mouth mask. And I really like the colours they use for Koda, because he kind of looks like a tropical bird.
Yeah, it's nice that his muzzle like doesn't look scary at all. And Todoroki's thing, it looks like he has like weights on his wrists or something, but that's not what it is, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah. I really like his new outfit. I think out of everyone, his is the best change, because his one before, with the half white and then he covered himself with ice, he looked so unapproachable.
Mm-hmm.
In the manga and things, so we're not going to spoil it, but you learn a lot more about his outfit, but it's so much nicer than that one he was wearing before. So Kaminari says that his change in style was huge, which I don't think it is a huge style. It's just what everyone's been saying. It looks like he's got a Yu-Gi-Oh deck on his arm.
Yeah, and his style is huge, but I just noticed Kaminari's eyebrows are tiny. They're just like baby eyebrows. Like, why? They're too small.
I wonder if he plucks them.
Maybe, but he needs to learn to stop. Or maybe he shocked most of them off when he was a kid, and now he just like is constantly regrowing them.
Yeah. Kaminari he's saying like, "Oh, isn't my outfit great? Ask about it. I'll tell you. It's seriously amazing." But we don't get this explanation, because they're interrupted by Vlad King, who appears in the doorway with Monoma and Kendo behind him. Vlad wants them out so that Class B can practice, because they've booked the hall for the evening. But Azawa says that they have 10 minutes left and criticise Vlad for not using his time wisely.
And Vlad's so rude. I don't remember him being this rude. Like, why the antagonism?
But Azawa was rude as well, because he criticised Vlad's time management and teaching style in front of all the students.
Oh, well, Vlad was rude first. He's like barges in. He could have just waited the 10 minutes instead of being like, get out. So I think like they're kind of, the teachers are also helping with the rivalry between the two classes. And I think it might be kind of deliberate, so that way it inspires them to get stronger, because then they have like in-school rivals instead of the dangerous villain rivals. Monama is a better rival, like safer rival than Shigaraki is. So I think they're trying to like encourage in-school rivalry, like interclass, rather than like villain or like in the class, like Bakugo and Deku. So I think it might be kind of deliberate, but maybe it's not. The students aren't as conscious that the teachers are doing it, or maybe it's just that they don't get along. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think because we learnt that Vlad is feeling competitive himself, with his class and Class A.
Yes.
But I just think it's unprofessional. So then we go straight to Monoma, who is posing, and ask Class 1A if they know that there's a 50% fail rate, and that the Class 1A should just fail. And I noticed that he said a 50% fail rate, whereas Azawa, when he mentioned it, he said a 50% pass rate. So what a negative Nelly Monoma is.
Yeah. And he has a fancy suit with clocks on the belt, and it's like, what are you? I guess it's so he can time how long he has that quirk for or something. But he just looks like Tuxedo Mask, but like someone threw glitter on him, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, he's just Monoma. Izuku and Kirishima are then taken aback. And I thought that this was maybe a new expression for Kirishima that we hadn't seen, but I think it might just be because of the helmet around him that makes his face a bit different. But Monoma has a crazy laughing fit as Kaminari is asking Kendo about his costume. And she says that apparently because his quirk is a copy, he thinks he doesn't need anything eccentric. And Kaminari then mirrors everyone by wondering how eccentric Monoma actually is, if this is his idea of uneccentric. I think his costume It makes him look like a magician to me, which is arguably the most eccentric of all entertainers, except for circus people. He could be a circus, like the circus master, the one who introduces everyone, like a circus compere.
Oh, or the ringmaster.
Yes, that's what he looks like to me.
Oh. As long as he doesn't go full clown in makeup, we're good. If he goes like, I'm going to dress up as a clown, I'd be like, no, you're cancelled.
I've never disliked Monomer before. I always just found him quite funny. But for some reason here, I think it might be the costume that I don't like, but I just didn't like him.
He's always annoyed me, but it's not like hatred. It's just that I know I'm supposed to hate the character, so I'm like, yeah, he's annoying, but it's not like he's interesting. So he's entertaining. You love to hate him.
When Horikoshi puts the character, the wee character analysis is, the one he did one for Monomer, he said, I know you shouldn't base characters on real people, but he based Monomer on someone that he didn't like.
Nice.
What a diss. Yeah, Tokiomi actually thinks that Monomer's opinion is reasonable because it's their fate to crush each other in the same exam.
He's so emo.
So emo. But Azawa says that, no, don't worry, the classes will be in separate locations. We get some elaboration on this from Vlad, and we learn that there are exams in both June and September, and also they're in 3 different locations around Japan, but all at the same time. So there's 3 going on in June and 3 going on in September. And this stops the students from each school from fighting each other. We then get a whoo from Monomer and a really obvious exhale before he starts off another crazy laughing fit and says that he's disappointed that he couldn't battle each other. But his whew was not missed by Kirishima.
Yes.
Kaminari wonders if Monomer has a diagnosis for his mental state.
Just asshole.
But this is the second time they've mentioned his mental state, because they did it in the when they were in the cabin training up. I wonder what his diagnosis is.
I just love Kirishima is a lot, and Kaminari both a lot sassier than they usually are. I find when they interact with him.
Yeah, I wonder if when they're together they're just the worst.
Yeah.
Not that they're the worst, but. We then cut to Sero, who has an ectoplasm clone behind him, who's been all taped up like a spider's web. Sero says that he didn't think about the other schools and who they would be up against. Izuku's also nervous about that, as they're applying earlier than other schools. Ozawa agrees, and he elaborates by saying that there are very few first years that do actually enter. Very few from the whole country that enter, so they'll be facing people that have both more experience and also unknown quirks to them. And that while the test details are unclear, what is clear is that they'll struggle. But after that, they shouldn't worry about it, as if they're not going to worry about it now.
And it's kind of cool that you get to see characters in the background in shadow, and there's scary silhouettes. There's a fire breather, there's what looks like an evil Mina, there's a giant who looks like Oris from One Piece, and there's a dragon.
Oh, I didn't notice those. Yeah, they're not going to worry about it now. So it's clear you're going to struggle, but don't worry about it. We go back to the dorm, and the 1A girls are all relaxing together. Ashido and Jiro are both talking about how exhausted they are, but Momo is just worried that they have less than 1 week before the exam. And she says that her body can't keep up with the ultimate move that she wants to do. Hagakure asks Sue as well about her new move, and Sue says that her move is even more frog-like. Yeah, and Toro would be really surprised.
Oh, and I love that Sue's hair is up and she's drinking strawberry milk. I just want to say, anybody who watches Gintama,
Sue's hair is
very cute.
A marvel. It's up at the top in the same way. She does that bow at the bottom of her hair. It's up in the same way.
Oh, yeah.
But in Horikoshi's, again, his little student bits, he puts that he doesn't know how, but Sue does her hair, so I don't know how she does it at the top. I wonder if she uses her tongue.
Maybe.
As a third hand to help do her hair.
Maybe. And her hands are big, too, so I guess, she can, do more stuff with it, and maybe they're more flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how she does her hair. It's just frog hair.
Hakure's been asking all the girls about their ultimate moves.
Ooh,
Ooh. When she asks Ochiko, Ochiko just doesn't notice her at all until she's poked by Sue, which really startles her back to the present. Sue thinks that she's tired, but Ochiko says no, she's not tired. She's instead just getting started that's what she wants to say, but recently her heart feels stirred up. And then straight in there, Mina just chimes straight and goes, "It's love!" Ochako sweats. She gets super sweaty, actually. She gets hyper blushed, and she pretends to have misheard, and she's just shouting, "Love?" No, she didn't shout love, she shouts, "Dove." What is it? Dove, bove, anything that rhymes with love that isn't love is what she starts to shout out instead. Yeah. Mina continues by asking if it's Ida or Izuku, as she spends a lot of time with her. And this is too much for Ochako, and she just hides her face in her hands, which activates her quirk, and she starts just floating up into the air. Hagekure pushes to find out which one it is even more, and Jiro then tells her that her sentence will be lighter if she confesses.
I love they both just kind of lightly teasing her, being like, "Tell us what it is."
Yeah, what's her sentence if she doesn't?
I know.
She then takes her hands off to start protesting. Sue says that forcing the investigation isn't good, and I like that she says it looking to Momo, because I guess Momo's the only one that's not interested, and maybe the girls listen to her.
She's the leader.
Momo more than the other one, yeah.
Oh, I just want to say Hagegura has a cute nickname for Momo. It's Yao Momo. I just love it. It's cute.
Oh, that is cute. Momo says that they should go to bed soon because they have another early start in the morning. But Ashido, she just doesn't want to go. She's putting the most childish expression that she could be drawing, because she's really shouting all of her words, and she's got her hands upright and clenched like a child. But she's saying that even if it's not about romance, she will force it to be about romance.
She wants the gossip.
Yeah. We go back to Ochako floating, and for a while her eyes are there's no iris or pupils, it's just swirls. But then when she notices Izuku outside of the window, they go back to normal. This is the only bit of the episode that I didn't like. I didn't really like the music. Yeah. This harp music starts playing in the background, and then it starts to get heavier and louder. And I think maybe too obvious. I don't know. It just, to me, it felt like they were making fun of her, but they probably weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she notices that Izuku's in the garden, and he's just sort of practicing different moves. And Ochako starts to get surrounded by just bright lights, sparkles and bubbles as she watches him. And he's comparing his moves to those of Ada, and he's beginning his mutter storms, and this makes Ochako smile. Oh, did you have anything to say about that scene?
I just felt she has it bad even for his nerd murmurs. And I guess it's kind of she's admiring, he's cool practicing and he's intelligent, but mostly just seems like she's just he doesn't seem cool in this situation. I saw someone comment about that on Twitter, that in the manga it was more like his kicks looked really cool, but here it's just straight up she's in love, and she just hasn't accepted it yet.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's what makes her smile. I think because sometimes we like people because they've got qualities that we think we don't have and we want. Mm-hmm. So maybe because she's nervous about herself, she's admiring that in him. And also, it's just really nice when someone's really passionate about something.
And I like how realistic it is, too. That's kind of they're both, they kind of realize, oh, you're hanging out with them a lot. And, they're not just, I think there's a lot of stuff where there's, shipping or stuff, characters don't acknowledge it until, the last second, until they have, this big conflict over it. But here it feels more realistic how it was brought up. And then, how she's not quite sure how she feels yet. Because Deku's one of her best friends. And I think it's fair that she's, trying to figure out how she feels.
Yeah, the whole thing's very sweet. We cut to the day of the exam at the National Dagobah Arena.
Oh, a Star Wars reference. Dagobah is a planet and star system. It's where Yoda trained Luke.
Yeah. We've been to Dagobah before, haven't we? But not this arena. Yeah, because the Dagobah Beach, so it's the same place.
Oh, he reused it. Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. I forgot.
Jiro's looking very nervous, and so is Mineta. He's so nervous that he can't stop shuffling about. I thought what Ozawa said here was pretty much a Star Wars reference as well, because he says, it's not about whether or not you can, so go get it. I think they reminded me somewhat of the can or cannot. There is no try.
Yes. And I love, Mineta feels like an actual character this episode. He didn't do anything pervy at all this episode. He seemed like an actual character, and it was really nice that Eraserhead, he really weirdly flopped down to be at eye level with Mineta. He didn't, crouch. He, leaned over at his waist and was just what are you doing? And also, Deku is holding a Deal or No Deal briefcase with number 18 on it, and I have no idea why. Because that's what I thought, that maybe it was like their school's number 18 or something, but they would be like number 1 because they're like the most famous one. I don't know.
What's his class seat? What's his seat in class? I wonder if it's got his costume in it. I'm going to Google it.
Oh, I have no idea.
He's seat number 18. So I wonder if they're not, because when we see them and they're first introduced to their costumes, they go into this room and it's got different lockers in where they get their uniforms out. So I wonder if you press a button, it comes out in a suitcase, and then you take that suitcase to the room to get changed. So I wonder if the 18 is from that's his student number, so that inside that is his outfit.
Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. But no one else is carrying briefcases, though. It's just Deku.
Ooh. But Aizawa bending down and giving him his quote, it works, and it cheers Mineta up. Aizawa continues, and he says that if they pass, they'll hatch from eggs to semi-pro chicks. I like that he's got his egg and chick reference, and All Might uses the fetus one. As Kirishima gets ready to call out Plus Ultra, we see a student from the back who we don't know who he is, and he steals the Plus Ultra from Kirishima.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone sort of looks around startled, and then we learn that his name is Inasa. We learn this from another student. There's 3 students behind him. There's a female, there's this chap who tells him off for butting in, and then we see another student. We don't see him fully, but he's very fluffy. Inasa shouts, slaps his arms to his side, and screams that he is very truly sorry as he bows so low to the ground that he hits his head and it bleeds. Kaminari says, "Oh, what's with this guy trying to get by on just enthusiasm?" I'm surprised no one made a comparison between him and Ida with the apology where he's...
Oh yeah, I guess like Ida's at least smarter. He's like enthusiastic, but he doesn't like harm himself with his enthusiasm. Like he waves his hands around, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
This guy's like hurting himself, like with his apology. Well, Ida like confirms it to like robot movements, but I guess they are both very enthusiastic.
The way that he moved reminded me of Ida.
Mm.
We get a very quick shocked face of Aizawa, and then we go to Jiro and Bakugo, who between them noticed that the students are from Shiketsu School, which is the most famous school in the west of Japan and is rivals to UA.
Ooh, da, 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 da.
With an evil-looking eyes and an ominous red background, Inasa declares that he just wanted to say Plus Ultra once, but then now he said it twice. And he loves UA. And he feels extremely honoured that he can compete against them. The girl from before, she notices that he's got blood on him and he's bleeding. Inasa then leaves, and as he's leaving, Aizawa explains who he is. He says that he's very strong, and he came first in the recommendation group, but turned down the offer of UA for unknown reasons. I think this is when we first learned that the recommendation group had tests, isn't it? Because before I thought people just sort of recommended them and they got in, which now seems stupid.
I guess they might have recommended them. They got recommended in, and there was like, oh, I recommend it. That doesn't really make sense. I recommended him, and he got like 80. I don't know if they did tests. I think it's just like the score of what they gave them when they recommended, or like I don't really get that either. And it's just important to note, I got so confused when he said last year because I was like, wait, is he a second year? But no, Inasa is a first year as well, so that's why they point out that some other stuff that you're going to mention.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, they
worded it really weirdly.
I don't want to spoil it for non-manga readers, but yeah, no, they had tests, so I guess they can't let all the recommendation students in. And when you're recommending someone, I guess you're recommending them 100%. You're not going to be like, I kind of recommend this person, he's all right.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that they tested them. I'm looking forward to see more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Izuku looks shocked that Inasa is a first year as well. So the other students that we see that were behind Inasa, they're all second years. And Inasa so far is the only first year we know from Shiketsu that's joining in the exam. And he reflects that this guy must be stronger than Shota if they were in the test together. We see Shota, who's looking very angry, just watching Inasa walk off.
Or he seems like very blank. And just like Inasa even like says this weird line that he's like, I like blood, and it's like, okay, thanks for letting us know. And that's the episode break. We learn that Ochiko likes Japanese food and that Eraserhead likes cats. That's why people draw Aizawa with cats a lot, because he loves them.
I love those drawings. I love all the drawings with Shoto and cats as well. And the cats are always rubbing up to his warm side, the fire side.
Oh, and we see that the testing center has a really cool like twirl on top of it. Now for everyone from UA, excuse me. And there's this weird like cousin it dude who's like just all afraid beside them. And Zero doesn't get why he loves UA but turned down acceptance. Mina, you just full on says he's a weirdo. Eraserhead, the guy's like, yeah, he's weird, but the real thing, so keep an eye out for him. And we hear a lady call out, Eraser, is that you? And he's startled, and he kind of like does a little like shock. It's like he's just like clearly thinking, shit. She says she saw him on TV and at the sports festival, but it'd been a while since in person, and she has an awesome costume. Like, I love the rings on her fingers, so like her punches are harder, and she kind of has like a jester or like Harley Quinn thing going on or something.
I love her hair colour.
Yeah.
I know we saw her very quickly in the crowd.
Yes, that's what I was going to say too.
At the sports festival, but I didn't realise this was her hair colour. I love that. It didn't fully register. Now we can see I just love her hair colour.
Yeah, we saw her in chapter 34 of the manga, but she had a gas mask on then. I think they also had her in the anime, but I don't know.
Yeah, it just really makes her stand out.
I was wondering, like, is she dyeing her hair, or like, it's anime logic, so who knows? Oh, Eraser's head, his eye twitches. He's just like, why? She asks him to get married, and he says no. She's shorter than him by a bit. Their interactions are very cute. There's some funky striped background as they talk, and Mina does a little heartbreak. She already started shipping them, and Eraserhead just broke her heart. Because he's like, no, you're cute together. And Miss Joke laughs. No, good one. Eraserhead says, you're hard to talk to as usual, Joke. And I love they kind of have like nicknames for each other. Just like Eraser and Joke.
Yeah. Some of the jokes where she's really pestering him to go out of her. One of the times she's actually blushing when she says it. So I wonder if, when you're a child, will you go out to me? And they say no, and you're like, I was only joking, and then you run away.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's doing that.
Maybe. And Deku is very enthused because he recognizes her as the smile hero, Miss Joke. She even has a smiley belt. Her quirk is Outburst. She forces those near her to laugh, dulling their senses and movements. Her fights against villains are full of craziness. We get to see her epic punch and kick some mooks. The people she's beating up are crying with laughter. You can make someone pee their pants with laughter. Like, that is actually a very powerful quirk. And I also like that both Eraser and her quirk are something where they have their quirk, but they also need to have the physical stuff to back it up as well.
I wonder if her quirk works similar to Shinso's quirk, and they have to respond to her for it to start working. Because unless she can just look at people and laugh, because if she could do that, then I don't know. There must be some sort of catch to it.
That it's a gas, or it's like just looking at them. I thought it was that she had to make them laugh, and then she could make it like uncontrollable or something. But it's probably a gas, and maybe that's why she has the gas mask or something.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun. I guess like she can't make Eraser laugh because Eraser's always just like looking at her, be like, "Don't you use your quirk on me?" Like, I will not laugh unless it's an evil laugh. If she asks him to marry her again, if you marry me, we can make a family with never-ending laughter. And Eraser says, a family like that can't be happy. She laughs so hard she spits. Suyu points out they seem close. And we learned that their agencies used to be close to each other, and they got in a cycle of helping and being helped by each other, and their mutual love. And she blushes, and Eraserhead's like, no, it didn't. She points out, like, I like your quirk. Oh, I like your quick retorts. You're so worthy. And she's just teasing him, and I love it. Poor Eraserhead just attracts, like, extroverts to himself.
I wonder what his idea of a happy family is.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought of, too. It made me think of Todoroki's family, because that's a not happy family, and I wonder, like, did they try to put on a really happy front for people? Like, we haven't seen, I guess we've seen a bit of the families, but not like, I don't know. I wonder what Eraserhead's family is like. Were they all like him?
Or maybe they were super loud, and that's why now he's like, I just want things to be quiet.
One day he'll just be able to, like, hang out with his cats. Eraserhead says, "Joke, since you're here, that means," and she goes, "Yes, come out, everyone. Look, people." And then I wrote, "Look at people we mostly won't see again." We see a creepy Deku lookalike, a blonde girl, a blue man, and a person with long black hair that's kind of buff. They look kind of creepy. Deku lookalike goes, "Wow, it's the real thing." And the blonde girl says, "Amazing, I saw them on TV. It's Ketsu Butsu, and it's the second year, second class. Be kind to them."
The blonde hair one, her hair, where it sticks out, it reminds me of, you know, that one, there's very few filler bits. You know, the filler part with Sue when she's on her work experience.
Mm-hmm.
And she's with the one who we think that they're her ears or her hair, but they're bits that have been stuck out the sides that kind of look like fish gills.
Oh.
Where it sticks out and they're blue, and they come out from the sides and they're kind of spiky. That reminded me of this blonde girl's hair.
And we learned that the Deku lookalike has a name. His name's Shindo. He grabs Deku's hand and says his name. "Your year must have been tough with the trouble on trouble." And then he's about Todoroki's height, but even so, you're all aiming to be heroes like this, huh? And he goes and grabs Kaminari's hand and says, "That's wonderful." He grabs Jiro's hand, and he's so weirdly touchy.
They really amped his interactions here up compared to in the manga, and I think it was a really good choice.
Yeah, and he winks and says, "A heart of fortune." He has golden eyes, and it's like, a heart of fortune is what he believes all heroes should have from now on. That's basically meaningless. And Deku says he's so bright. Kaminari says he's a pretty boy type.
I don't understand what a heart of fortune is.
Neither do I. It's just meaningless positivity.
It is meaningless.
Because you just got to be lucky and have a heart full of money. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Amongst you, there is Bakugo. So he's trying to find Bakugo, or I guess he kind of knows where he looks like, who experienced the Kamino incident. I swear they switched the spelling of Kamino. I thought Kamino was spelled with a K, but it's spelled with a C here.
Ooh, yeah, it was with a K.
Yeah, or maybe, I think Crunchyroll definitely had C.
Sneaky buggers.
But maybe I wrote it down wrong. Maybe I wrote it down wrong, but I have C here, but I just, like, I know it was K everywhere else. And Bakugo goes, "Eh." And Shindo starts to move towards him, and he says, "You have an especially strong heart. Today, I'll do my best learning from you." And he holds out his hand for a shake, and Bakugo hits it away, saying, "Stop pretending. What you're saying doesn't match the look on your face." And I just makes me think he's seen the real deal of sincerity from Kirishima, so he knows this guy's fake.
Yeah, this shows a level of emotional and personal insight that I wouldn't have thought Bakugo's character would have.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because he's so silent compared to everyone else. Maybe he spends that time, he doesn't spend it in his head, just wishing everyone would die like we think he probably would. Maybe he's just being quiet. Like, I guess he's being quiet because he's just watching everyone. He's analysing it.
Mm-hmm. He can just sense another asshole.
Yeah, but I would. Oh, there's one of me in the perimeter.
I think it's a bit of both. Yes, but I think this guy's worse because he's like putting on a fake front, while Bakugo like puts out a more jerk front than he actually is.
Yeah.
But so they're both putting up fronts, but just different kinds.
I think in the manga it's slightly more obvious that he's fibbing because we get more of a zoom into his face as he's looking down and his eyes look, I don't know, maybe I was just looking into it because it's what we're reading, but they're sneaky looking eyes, whereas here he maintains the same sort of expression the whole way through. I
guess like we don't get a really good shot of his eyes till right after Bakugo says something, and then Shindo looks down and he's seriously sinister, and Kirishima yells, "Hey, stop being rude!" So if Kirishima was fooled, he's basically Bakugo's babysitter. He says sorry for his rudeness. Shindo responds, "It's fine, it just proves how strong his heart is." And the blondie wants his autograph because he's so cool at the sports festival. And long-haired person says, "Don't be a fangirl." Mineta slides in behind offering his autograph, which isn't creepy, it's just a kind of cute, like, funny thing. So he's like, Mineta's gone a full episode without being annoying.
He was good this episode.
Yeah, like, I was impressed. And Eraser says, "Oi, get changed into costumes and go to orientation. Don't waste time." Oh, and apparently the person with the creepy long black hair, they were unnamed until the anime, but their name is Ichijiro Toteki. Or actually, maybe I'll wait for the other ones, because I'm not sure if they get named later or not. They walk away, and Jiro notes seeing students outside UA reminds me, and commentary finishes the sentence that UA students are actually pretty famous. After they leave, Miss Joke is talking to Eraser, and she's surprised, saying, "Could it be you haven't told them, Eraser?" And I just want to say she has really pretty eyes, and she seems to have genuine concern, but Eraserhead doesn't respond, he just walks away. And we see that there's lots and lots of students, and a very tired guy is doing a presentation saying, "Let's do this provisional exam thing." We learn he's Mira from Heroes Public Safety Commission. Very quiet, and he says that the kind of sleep he likes is non-REM sleep, and it's nice to meet you. He holds his head down. "I've been so busy, I haven't gotten much sleep. We're too short-staffed."
I love his voice actor. He does such a good job. He's just such a good job.
Yes, he's just tired.
It's so funny.
He says, "With this conviction, I will lead your orientation." It's like, just let this man sleep. And Deku thinks he's not hiding his exhaustion at all. Is he okay? Ochiko is also worried. We learned there's 1,540 participants in this free-for-all exercise.
I did some boring maths here. So there's 1,540 examinees, but in the 3 locations, that means that there's 4,620 overall, all taking the exam at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And so in the whole year, that's 9,240 people, unless some of them retake it later on. But we're not sure if it's a one-shot deal yet.
Ooh.
But 9,240, that's a lot of, and that's just from 1 year. I guess they could be in year 1, year 2, and year 3. But that, when he says that the country is oversaturated with heroes, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot.
He's right. But that's not all these people are becoming heroes. But I guess if you take what we've heard so far, that half of those become heroes, like half of 9,000.
Yeah.
Is still a lot.
Especially when it's on top of the police.
And he says society is saturated with heroes. Ever since Stain was arrested, many have shown doubts about the current state of heroes. People say that heroes should not seek compensation, the title given to those who have sacrificed all of themselves. One for all, I guess. He says, as a private citizen, no matter what the motivation, to tell someone risking their lives to save others not to risk a reward, that's kind of iffy. And I guess I kind of agree with that maybe it is bad that some heroes just want the money, but it's also like they're risking their lives. Like, we still pay police officers and doctors and nurses and all that. So like, just because you're risking your life to save somebody doesn't just mean that you're too honorable to be paid. It's like, you still need to live and be a person. But I don't know.
Oh, I think he is right, especially if you're doing it all the time. Like, we know what sort of struggles like Spider-Man had with making a living. If he could do it just out in the open, it's so much easier for him.
Yeah, and it's an interesting response to the Stain argument that I haven't really seen anybody give. Like, most people kind of like argue back and forth about the heroes, but it's just like, they are people and they need to live.
Yeah.
And so it's the ruthless story of these modern times. But anyways, it just shakes it away. Whether for compensation, for loyalty and courage, the result of many heroes working hard together to help people and defeat villains is that right now, the time when an incident begins to when it resolved is so short, it'll make you sick. So basically, it is a very, very fast-paced place. That, like, crimes happen in seconds, and you have, like, seconds to chase down the guy, and, like, split seconds matter in this situation.
He's so tired. At the end of one of these episodes, I guess in between maybe the breaks of the different tests, I'd like to see a bonus bit at the end of one of the episodes where Ozawa just like lends him his sleeping bag. It's like, go have a nap. Go have a nap for a little bit. Borrow my sleeping bag. You need it more.
They should be friends. And I swear that we learned more about his quirk, and I tried looking it up on the wiki, and the wiki didn't have anything, but I swear we learned about it. But hopefully the anime will refresh my memory. We see a huge group shot. And there's a guy in a toga, there's a spearhead guy, a guy with a star in his hair, there's a girl with a hat, there's a guy who looks like the Thing from the Fantastic Four, but he's yellow and has a block on his head, there's a guy with a helmet, and then there's a horse head guy, there's a green plant man, and there's a guy who's in a Napoleon outfit. I just love the horse head guy, he's the best. And he has a knight friend beside him.
Some of them reminded me of extra Rick and Morty characters.
I've only seen a bit of that. And he says, you're all about to receive your provisional license and finally throw yourselves into the rapids. Those who can't keep up the speed will find it tough. Accordingly, what you'll be tested on today is speed. It just makes me think, luckily, Deku's now a speed hero. How fortunate. And the first 100 to pass the requirements will pass. 100 out of 1,540. And Momo notes, I just wrote mom here. Poor, I'm sorry, Momo. Asks, didn't they say half would pass? That's less than 1%. Suyu points out, and Jiro's nervous. And the officials say luck and all that and the way of the world here are the requirements. So that kind of harkens back to a Heart of Fortune. You have to be lucky to be a hero.
Yeah, they need Luffy luck.
Yes. And they have to put 3 targets on their body. As long as it's exposed, no soles or armpits. They'll have 6 balls. The targets light up when hit by a ball. All 3 lights light up. You're out. Whoever lights the 3rd target gets the credit for the defeat. And you get through by defeating 2 people. That's it. Those are the only rules. No, don't kill people. That's just the rules. And Deku says, just like the entrance exam, which it's not really like the entrance exam at all, but going against people is completely different from robots. They have exactly enough balls to pass. And they seem to recommend swooping in and stealing kills from other people. And we get a very intense Ochako and Ida and Bakugo. They all think that it's harsher than entrance exam. After we open, we'll pass out the stuff. Start in 1 minute after everyone gets their stuff. And Todoroki even wonders, like, what does open mean? The ceiling opens and the whole room unfolds like one of those rectangles you had to build in class out of paper to like learn about the concept of rectangles. I don't know, it's really cool.
The only I had to add there was that when they think that it's harder than the entrance exam, I think it is fairer, because it doesn't disadvantage those who don't have a physical quirk. Mm-hmm. So like whereas Shinso would be, he just couldn't even enter the entrance exam. For this one, he would do well. He would just have to speak to someone, they respond, and then he'd be like, take my 3 balls, put them on all your targets, boom, he's done. Like he'd just have to say it to people. So it's much better for everyone with all their different encompassed quirks.
We learned there are different areas. There's a freeway, mountains, a factory, trees and a waterfall pond. There's a big city and a little city. Deku says it's unnecessarily big, and the tired man also says it's unnecessary. He hopes developments are speedy so he can go to sleep, and there are people watching in the seats. It's mainly probably just teachers, but maybe some scouts as well. Eraserhead is sitting a few seats away from his joke. He's like, please leave me alone. Who tells him his fly is down?
He's much further away from her than he is in the manga.
I think that makes it funnier.
Like in the manga, I think there's just like 1 or 2 seats in between. But like, he's so far away. She must be having to shout at him. She's like, Asawa, you haven't expelled anyone.
Spell me net. Sweatpants, like what is he wearing? And he wonders, why is everyone around me so noisy? And she can't believe he still has 20 students. It's unusual he hasn't expelled anyone. I just want to say, just expel him.
Oh no, I like him. Keep him in.
Okay, he can stay. And she says, you like your class this time? And he says, not really. It's like, you're full of shit, Eraserhead. She laughs, don't get embarrassed. And she says, that's so lame, and also go out with me. And he just says, shut up. She says, strange, there's no way you didn't know about that. She kind of changes the subject. If first people win, people won't go against their own school, so it's best to team up with power already known. I think it's the opposite. Maybe I'm evil, that I would like try to take out my own classmates.
Oh.
Because they're near me, and I can just do it really quick, and they wouldn't expect the betrayal.
That is mean. I would not. They live with these people as well, and even if you don't live with them, you have to spend all your training and things with them. Oh, that is mean. No, you wouldn't.
I think they'd be like, actually, you can't be a hero. That's a little too evil.
You wouldn't do it. It's not just mean. It's like, it's really gutsy as well. I think maybe even if I thought about that, I wouldn't have the guts to do it.
That's the problem. It's like, I would think of it, but then I wouldn't do it.
Even Bakugo doesn't do that.
I'm worse than Bakugo.
Yeah, how much of an arse are you?
I'm a secret asshole. It's more fun that way. And Deku says, everyone, don't get separated, move as a group. Ochako and Ida agree. Bakugo just side-eyes him, and he says it's not a field trip, and he pieces out. Hiroshima says, idiot, wait, and chases after him.
Come back, my love.
Todoroki also goes on. I know, it's pretty much what it is. Todoroki also goes on his own, saying it's hard to use his power in big groups. And Mineta says, Mineta says, no time, let's go. I don't know if that's right or not. I guess it was. Maybe I meant Midoriya.
Is he saying that to Midoriya? Because Midoriya starts to run after him and he's like, no, we don't have the time, leave him.
Okay, so I think Mineta just please stay here and make sure that I don't get out. And Miss Joke says, every year the test is different, but the tradition is, and then we cut to Deku saying, not a good idea to go off on your own, as everyone knows their powers already because of the sports festival, says Ida. Ida finishes the sentence. UA is the only school that broadcasts their sports festival, revealing quirks, strategy, and weaknesses. Other schools will figure it out, and it'll become a battle of schools, according to Deku. And they'll start thinking of which school to go for first. If you like them, should have told them what happens every year, the crushing of UA. And everyone's flying in midair, balls in hands. Dun, 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 dun. And Deku knew it. Someone's saying, I saw it on TV, the superpower that always destroys itself. Well, if a nail sticks out, then you gotta hammer it down. That's a saying in Japan that's pretty common. So it's like, the unique person gets knocked down.
Yeah, but you would go after UA as well, wouldn't you? Because then you'd get, if you took it out, you'd get bragging rights. You'd be like, did you see me take out that UA kid? I'm so cool.
Exactly. And we flash back to All Might saying that full cowling was effective for the exam. Deku full cowls shoot style. He hits the balls away. Very cool. It's a good thing he didn't put his target on his feet.
Yeah, I don't know if he kicks them all, or when he kicks, he creates enough wind that it surges them all back. Because I think this is the first time where we see him use the move, and the wind, it really plays a big part. Just like All Might, when he uses his strength, the wind created from the strength is a big part of that as well.
Because that way he doesn't have to hit every ball. He can just kind of knock it away with wind pressure. I don't know if he's quite aware of that yet, but it seems like here he is. Eraser says there's no reason he didn't tell them. But in the end, it wouldn't change anything. They just have to overcome everything. Dark Shadow hits away the balls. Ochako just flies away. She's like, bye. Zero tapes up the balls. Mina acids them away, and Minato whacks them away with his beads.
That move just makes me think of you calling it anal beads.
I know, I was trying to avoid saying it this time. But he's just swinging. And they're sticky. He's just throwing. It's great.
I think Ozawa is right though when he said that there was no need to tell them, because there was no need, because they kind of worked it out on themselves, and it would just stress them out more, especially considering he'd already stressed them out. But it's clear you're going to struggle. Yeah. Why stress them out more? Let them be chill.
And you can see Momo protecting Hagagura. She's just floating targets and gloves, and she's protecting Suyu as well.
Yeah, she's protecting all three of them, because I guess Sue, other than whacking her tongue, which is very thin, I don't know how else she would protect herself from the onslaught of balls.
I can hear your cat in the background if you have a cat.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that's my chair. I'll stop moving.
Oh. I thought it was a cat. Oh, that's
no,
fine.
I'm wriggling around on my chair. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
That's fine. And the shields have these bracers on something that you can hold them. There's some weird thing sticking out. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just that you can brace it. And Ida's just running around.
Sorry, are the bits that you can hold on the inside? So you can lift them up. Oh yeah, so they're just like medieval shields where you can hold them up and you can move with them. I get that's reminiscent of the ending song where they're all fantasy creatures and Momo's dressed like a sexy knight. Her shield.
Oh yeah, that could be cool. And I just wrote green asshole is shocked. I think that's Shindo who I mean. And Eraserhead says a hero is someone who can turn around a bad situation. If you become heroes, everyone will know their quirks anyways. Very true. So I'm sorry, but we're looking further ahead. And we get very epic music. And the results of intensive training, Deku says, everyone, let's keep going like this. Everyone agrees. There's a cool group shot. And we also, if you look, you can see Kaminari is not with them anymore. So the people missing are Kaminari, Bakugo, and Todoroki, and Kirishima. So 4 people are gone.
Yeah.
That we don't know where they are. Dun, 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 dun.
It is a good group shot.
Yes, and that's the end of that episode. It's a pretty good episode. Like, it's nice that they always start like a little slow, and then they get like the action begins without like quite beginning. It's just we get to see them be cool.
I loved this episode. This is my favourite arc, and I loved this episode. It does so well at amping you up for the rest of the tests, and you get the kids do so well. I loved that they showed all of how they use their different moves to rebut all of the balls.
And it's also good that we kind of just see like 2 key students from the different schools. It's just really cool that we've got like others. We've known there were other hero schools ever since like when Deku was like, oh, mom, doesn't matter, it's not UA, I can go to another one. But now we actually see that there are like respectable schools that are like hero schools.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the episode. What would you give it out of 5?
Oh, 4 out of 5.
I think I'd give it a 5. The only bit I didn't really like is I didn't like the music being so elaborate with Ochaku's little love fest, but that was it. Everything else, I loved it, and there was lots of good character interactions, and
I guess like my only complaint is just the same for the manga. It's very fast. Like we hear that it's a week left till the exams, and then it cuts to the exam right after that, and I kind of wish we could have gotten a bit more of their training and stuff. But I guess like the whole point is that we're gonna get like maybe we'll get big reveals of what everyone's new stuff is, and we already see like a bit of it. But I don't know. I want to spend more time with the students as students, but I guess it's a shonen series, so of course I want a training arc, because all the training arcs always get interrupted in this, and I want to stick with the training arc for like 2 seconds longer.
Oh, I like it that more this way actually, because we get to see their moves when they're actually fighting, because otherwise we would see them learning about their moves, and then we would see them again when they're actually using them to fight. So I think this way it builds up some suspense, and you can think like, oh, how are they going to use all of their quirks? How are they going to do this? How are they going to do that? But we actually get to see them using it in an actual fight rather than just elaborating and trying it out.
I think it makes sense. I'm just like, I just want them to start working together too. Like I want to see more like combinations, like training with that. But I guess it's better they're just focusing on themselves and improving themselves right now.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I don't know. But overall, I think it's good.
Did you have any point for manga readers as well?
Oh, okay, this is spoilers. I just want to note that Kami talks about blood. I just think it's important to note because that's not Kami, it's Toga. So it's just kind of like she just notices blood. And she's also like, being very low-key. Like she's not being overly enthusiastic or anything. She's just very much laying low. She's just here to gather intel or to do something we don't know. We still don't know why Toga was there. Or I guess we do. She wanted blood. She was out to gather blood from people.
She was there. I think she was there specifically for Izuku, wasn't she? Because she's got her little crush on him.
Oh yeah.
And also the League of Villains, Shigaraki's got his I hate Izuku thing. So I think they sent her there to get his blood, because she turns up in front of him, which is what we'll see next week. I wonder how next week they're gonna. Yeah, she's voluptuous enough already. They don't need to amp it up anymore. So I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, because she's just full on naked during the fight. And I think she gets some of Deku's blood during the fight.
I can't remember if she does or not. I don't think she does, because I know. No, I don't think she does. We'll find out.
Because I know she uses Ochiko's blood a bit, and then she does another transformation during the overhaul arc. I thought she turned into Deku or someone, or Ochiko, but maybe she didn't. She turned into Locke.
We will find out.
Yeah, I need to reread the series. I haven't reread it recently. Let's move on to the manga to refresh our memory for this fight, or the ending of it, I guess.
Plus Ultra.
Okay, so welcome to our manga recap. This week is manga chapter 191, entitled Dabi, Hawk's Endeavour. So we see off seeing Dabi, but it is, I believe, Endeavour's view of Dabi, so it's very blurry, and he's wondering who he is. And Dabi's saying, ha, ha, no one told me you would be here. Endeavour's angry and he's wheezing. He's saying, it's you, the one who murdered Snatch. The League of Villains Dabi. And Dabi then pulls this kind of puppet master pose.
That's such a weird pose. Like, if someone just did this at me, I'd be like, what are you doing? It's just like, ugh, it's like Frankenstein, but it's also like too close to his face. Like, it looks super creepy, but it's also like goofy. Like, why?
It does look so weird. But then we go to the next page and we see that he's not just like deciding to pull this weird pose.
He's not JoJo posing.
No, because his hands do light up with his blue flame, and he suddenly, it looks like it's just in one fell swoop, one swoom, he creates this en masse of big flame around the heroes and the carcass of the Black Nomu. And he says, "Snap who?" So he just can't remember at this point at all who Snatch is. He says, "More importantly, let's chat while we have this chance." We see the heroes that we don't know the name of saying, "Hot, hot, it's burning hot." And they're outside of the heat, saying, "What? Blue fire? That's not from Endeavour. It's too intense, man." We go to the helicopter who's saying, "Yes, the League of Villains is here. It's a League member, Dabi. He's surrounded Endeavour and Hawks with a wall of flames." We cut to the students in Azawa. Azawa saying, "It's him, but out in the open like that? What's he thinking?" We then, I love this cut to Shoto's face. And he's remembering him meeting Dabi, and he's flashing up his eyes, just saying, "Oh, Dabi," as he recalls who he is. We cut back to inside of the fire, with Hawks saying, "Take it easy, I'll handle him." And Endeavour's really struggling to stand. He's just slamming his fist on. Hawks has got his tiny little chicken wings. "I only have my tiny feathers left, but I can at least buy us some time." No, Dabi's saying, "Come on, I'm only here to collect the Nomu. There is no way I can actually win, right?" As he starts to approach them.
And he says, like, he's here to collect the Nomu, but I think he already set the Nomu on fire. It looks like in the ring of fire, and it burns, 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 the ring of fire.
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Maybe he just wants the carcass so that the heroes, they can't do any tests on the cells and things.
Yeah. And his wings are so tiny, and I think like that's either flame around it or he is still molting a little bit.
Yeah, I think maybe he's just trying to use them. I don't think it's fire. I think they look like just wee little wings.
And it says there's a warmth, and there's like, it looks like 30, but I guess that's just what warmth is in Japanese. It looks like a countdown, but I think that's just Japanese. And we see Dabi like racing in, and he goes against the top two dudes already beat up and bloodied. And we get an intense Hawks shot, and Endeavour is flaming up a little bit. But before they can do anything, a certain someone hops in, and she goes, "Stomp! Superhero landing!" And the person calls out, "I saw the news and came hopping." "Endeavour, Hawks, you boys better not have all the fun." It's weird she calls them boys, but she seems like she's younger than them.
She's quite, I think the way she talks to people, it's kind of derogatory, because even when we saw her in the hero lineup, she's like, "I don't want to work with other people." So I think she just she thinks she's great, and maybe that's just like her aesthetic, and she's not actually like that. That's just the persona she puts on, like, what's Beyonce's persona? Sasha Fierce. Maybe that's her Sasha Fierce persona that she puts on. She's like, "I don't need anyone else. You're not men, you're boys. Don't have all the fun, I'm here." But with the close-up of Dabi, those 3 dots in his nose, I wondered this for ages. Are they moles, are they spots, or are they piercings?
Oh, I think those are piercings or something. Or freckles?
Yeah, it could be. But that's such a minor thing, but...
I know, it's just one side of the nose. I think they're probably nose piercings.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice that. And he looks when he gets blown away, his hair gets blown back, he looks like a little sad.
Yeah, when his shirt's getting blown up, we kind of see what the back of his torso looks like, and he's got that, the flesh moulding into his, like, non-burned flesh. It covers right up to the back.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess his lower half's not all burnt, but it's really in certain sections.
It looks like there's a circle of it.
He looks crazy when he's zooming in.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a really good shot of her. It just makes me wonder, like, I guess if her quirk is probably that she can do anything a bunny does. So it's kind of like Suyu's quirk, but for bunnies.
Oh, I so want to see more of her. I love that.
I think, did any of us predict that she was going to come? I know I think I said that Kamui Woods maybe, But did any of us say that she might come?
No, I didn't realise what province she was in, because Cammy Woods isn't in their province, he's in the Tokyo one. But I just love her. And when she's saying Endeavour Hawks, and she's in a real bunny position, because they've got this, I love them, they've got their cute little front hands and then their massive back hopping legs. It's just, I so want to see more of her.
She looks so powerful too. Like, and you're with the league, your butt's about to get kicked. And he goes, Mirko? Too bad, right when things were heating up. And it's like, God damn you, Dabi, you can't make heat puns. You're the heat guy. At least do like a better heat pun. And he says, Ojiko. It sounds too much like Ochiko. How do you say Ujiko? I guess Ujiko. It still sounds like too much like Ochiko. And he spits up black glorp. And
I love the glomp noise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, gloop, gloop.
Ah, gloop.
And it goes, and everyone's shocked. I think, like, Endeavor is still, like, looks like he's almost knocked out. And he says, bye for now, Mr. Number One Hero. I'm sure we'll get another chance to talk. But until then, just keep doing your thing and don't go dying on me, Kay. NG Todoroki. Yeah, the same thing he said to, he said Shoto Todoroki. So he has some problem with the Todorokis.
I wonder if that's just his exit. I'll use my thumb.
I know, he just likes calling people by their full name.
I'll use your full name as I sassily go.
But he didn't refer to Mirko by her full name. I wonder, is Mirko her hero name or her name? Let's try to search her. I think that's, we don't think we know her name. She's just Rabbit Hero Mirko, and that's all we know.
Yeah, because I don't think the public are supposed to know hero names, real names, but for some reason we know Ozawa's. I guess because he's a teacher. He's their forum teacher, but.
And she says, talk now. And I love that she's very quick on the action. Like, she goes in and she just, like, she's a pro. Like, she's actually doing, like, a good job. And just, like, the black fluid pisses me off. Because it's like, if the last person we saw doing that was All For One. It was the last person we saw doing that. And then he was captured before he could, like, seem to get the chance to transfer that. What's going on with that?
Yeah, unless he can take, like we were talking about last week, he can use his mind to talk to people from further away and transfer it that way, but it's still unknown.
Yeah.
She just looks so strong as she kicks there. Because even her, from that perspective, I'm guessing it's quite difficult to draw muscular arms in that perspective but still make them look big because they need to be further away, but it's just drawn so well.
And I love her bunny tail.
Yeah.
And her ears are so cool. Like, they actually seem like ears, like they seem floppy. Oh, I just love her.
Yeah. We go on to the next page, and Dabi is getting taken away and his flames are starting to go down. And then she's saying, vanish! Ah!
Oh, she's sniffing her knee.
Yeah, she's saying, vanished! Oh, that stinks. That's how they got away in Camino too, right? And she starts shout.
She's even smart. Like, I love it.
Yeah, she's tuned in. Look at her toes!
Oh yeah, she has bunny feet.
Yeah!
She needs to see What's Up, Doc, at some point.
I thought from the last page that she was wearing soles on her feet, but I love her bunny toes.
You can kind of see in the last, like, her big landing, you can see the bunny feet a bit there.
Yeah.
I guess they do look more like Iron Soles, but now you can really see how bunny it is.
Yeah, but yet she doesn't have bunny hands. She's still got the thumbs, which is just such a good evolution. Yeah, so fortunate. Hawks is looking around. He's trying to see if there's anyone else there. And he's saying, anyway, with ellipses. See the fire is going. We go back to the helicopter, saying the crisis has passed. They headed off the danger. The threat is now gone. They can't hear me down there, but let me just say this. Endeavour, you and you two Hawks, you risked your lives to protect us all, and you won. Our new top hero is there, and what I'd like to say to him now is thank you. And in the background we can see, so in the first panel, or from when the helicopter lady is talking, we can see All Might still shocked looking on, but looking more like a relaxed shock. We see the Todoroki siblings, Hawks bending over to try and pick up Endeavour again, and the community just really cheering him on as Endeavour he starts to close his eyes as he just fades into passing out. Yeah, the sky is so stormy, It wasn't stormy before, it's just such a good mirroring. And someone is saying none of that was according to plan. And saying, oh, that's so. And we learned that we've skipped ahead in time. And who do we see?
Da, 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 da.
It's Hawk holding up his feather sword. He's not holding it up to his neck, but he's still holding it up to separate them. And Dabi just looks so chill, like he's got his hands in his pants. He's like, eh. And he says, hey, I thought you only had those baby feathers left. And he's saying, huh, you think I'd meet a liar like you unarmed? It was supposed to be tomorrow, and not downtown, but by the factory, by the water. Plus, this Nomu was clearly a cut above the rest. You could have mentioned that beforehand. He looks really angry and actually quite ominous there.
I love the shading.
Yeah, it's really effective. And we see Dabi, he really didn't care. He's just sort of smiling, laughing at him. I guess I just changed my mind. Didn't I tell you I'd be testing the Nomu's capabilities? But we're both a little guilty. I asked you for someone kinda strong, but you brought the top dog himself. It wasn't much of a test. We're going back to Hawks. I thought you'd be thrilled to inflict that kind of damage on him. Besides, you're the one who broke our agreement. I'm supposed to believe the number 2 hero just like that. This was testing how much I can trust you.
And I love that we can kind of see that Hawks' wings have gotten a bit bigger. Like, I guess he can regrow them.
Yeah, we don't know how much time have passed, but they are. They're like one. It looks like they're one layer bigger. Wait, let me go back.
Before they were like Cupid wings before, like tiny. I'm also going back.
Yeah, I want to count the level of. There's only 3. It looks like there's only 3 lengths of feathers there. Lengths or widths? There's only 3 feather widths there. But here, there's 4. So he's grown 1 feather width.
Yay. Okie doke. And we see Dabi staring down the feather sword. And tell me, why 0 casualties today? Oh, he shifts out of the way of the feather sword. Do you really sympathize with us? You came looking to cooperate, but you sure don't act like it. And we get a cool shot of Hawk saying, I gotta keep up appearances. A hero can't go losing the public's trust. The more faith they have in me, the juicier the intel I can get. That's to your advantage. Try taking the long view here. It's a long con. What I do for the league's sake, Dabi. That's an interesting line, because I wonder what lie he told Dabi to get him to believe him. Fine, but you don't get a face-to-face with the boss just yet. And that's the interesting line, because there's a secondary boss we don't know about. You'll hear from us, Hawk.
No, because he knows that the boss is Shigaraki.
Oh,
Shigaraki's the boss, isn't he? And he's not met him yet.
True. I forgot about Shigaraki for a second. True. I just meant the Ujiko guy. I was imagining he was the boss. But that makes more sense. I'm sorry, Shigaraki. You're important to the story too. We just haven't seen you in a bit.
Nope, Shigaraki won't forgive you. You're going to be killed off.
Yay!
He has no forgiveness.
Good. And we see Hawks walking around, and he just, like, since he grew that really long feather, he just has it hanging from his baby wings. So maybe that's why he was only able to regain that 1 layer, because he was focusing on growing the really long one.
Oh, it looks so weird.
We see someone saying, join the League of Villains, Hawks. He says, huh?
He looks so down, sorry. As he's walking off, he looks so down with that shading under his eyes.
Yeah, he's not happy. And he says, huh? And it says, like, hang on, what am I missing here? And there's a search team already, right? With Gran Torino in them? I love his kind of, like, he does a bit of an Ida thing, like the gesturing, like, robotically. And they say, how did you know that? That's never been disclosed. And he kind of, like, covers his mouth to cover, like, oh, maybe I don't know too much. It's kind of copying this lip zip thing he did before.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if he does it because he's like a gossip, or it's just a funny thing that he does. He can't be a gossip. They wouldn't give him this, or...
Mina and him would get along. They both like gossip. And gossip is power, so the Mina could use that, because if people are more comfortable telling you stuff, you can figure out more. And the lady says, as you just demonstrated, Hawks, you got sharp eyes and ears. We jumped the gun in see, Kamino spelled with a K, Kamino fight, scrambled to rescue the kidnapped boy. As a result, our intel is lacking, and we severely underestimate the enemy. And intel is what's key if we hope to eradicate this shadow organization. The bioengineered creatures especially, it is all for one's power, all that is needed to create them. Stuff we've been wondering for a while. Until we expose the ins and outs of this league, we are doomed to make the same mistakes again. And Hawks raises a very good question. What about the people that they hurt while I'm infiltrating? Do I just turn a blind eye to that? And the person closes their eyes and just says, you can and will. That's why we came to you. There is no honor or accolades in this for you. And we see him kind of like opening the door. He's about to go visit Endeavor. Set your sights on the long game. So then this is kind of, it's interesting that when Hawks is trying to convince Dabi, he used the same language they used on him. Set your sights on the long game and act accordingly. There's no better man for the job as we see it. And I just kind of like, I guess they kind of see Hawks as heartless because he kind of has that very much like cavalier attitude, and they're kind of using that so he can like pretend to be a villain, like try to work with them. But like, when he says like, what about the people who get hurt? Like, he does have a heart. Like, he actually is like, he says he just wants peace, but like, he is a hero and he does like care about people. And he even thinks like, sorry, Endeavor. And Endeavor's looking at him. Endeavor probably isn't, I just love that you're not allowed to smoke at hospitals, so that's probably why he's not allowed to go all fiery, because he would also burn off his bandages. And his eye's also bandaged up. And he says, sorry, Endeavor, I'm a spy. Like, what? I'm the mole? Like, what's he gonna say there? And Dabi is staring at the ocean all dramatically, and he goes, oh, right. Oh, goes, Oz? Oze.
Ooze. I think the ooze is from,
right, that's
he's bleeding, isn't he? His, like, burnt under eye bit is bleeding, because in the next panel we see him, he's wiping the blood away. So the skin is just oozing.
Ah, that makes sense. Ew. And we look back to remember when he was fighting, when he was attacking the shipment for overhaul, there was a hero, the Sandman, who said, you ever stop and think about the families who got to live with that loss? And then Dabi thinks, overthought things, and kind of snapped there. So we see Hawks and Dabi both thinking about the people who will be hurt by this. And they're told not to care. And like, Dabi snaps at that. It's like, what does that mean? I thought like, oh, the oozing's kind of important, because I thought it would almost be like he's wiping away like a tear or something, but like no one touched him, so is the like, why is he bleeding? Is it just that his like weird face needs to be cared for a lot? Like, why?
I wonder if because it looks like it's stapled on, doesn't it? It's stapled attached to his non-injured skin. So I guess if he makes any large expressions, that will pull on the skin, won't it? And maybe cause it to bleed.
I guess, like, maybe when she attacked, she did her stomp, she might have got him a little bit. But maybe it is just that he needs to have, like, regular... the doctor is the one who has to take care of his weird staple face. Or it's ooze from the teleportation goop. Like, did they teleport? Like, I don't know.
There's a lot to unpack in this chapter. I don't know where you want to start.
You go first.
So... we've already discussed how much we love our bunny lady. We love our bunny hero. My theory was wrong. I love the double spying. Mm-hmm. I love the spying, the infiltration of Hawks. That's something I never would have thought of. Mm-hmm. But then it looks to me when he comes up to Endeavor like he's going to kill him.
Oh!
Like he's going in to Endeavor and injured Endeavor, and he's saying, "Oh, Endeavor, I'm sorry."
To prove himself.
So he could either kill Endeavor because before then he was literally just saying, "Should I turn a blind eye?" And what Dabi was questioning him on was that there were no casualties, and he brought the second strongest hero. So if he kills off Endeavor, who's already very injured, that would really prove his loyalty to the League of Villains. Yeah. So I wonder if he's going to kill him. I don't know if I think he is or not. No, you know what? My theory was wrong last week. I'm going to go all in, and all weeks my theory is going to get crazier and crazier, and this week I think he's going to kill Endeavor.
But then, like, I guess it'd be obvious that a feather did it. So yeah, why is he bringing the giant feather sword into a hospital? That does seem a little suspicious. It could be, like, is he going to confess to Endeavor? Like, I guess it's also kind of making me think that, like, the double agent thing is the Hero Association telling him to do it. It's like the top heads telling him. It makes me wonder if the traitor could also be a double agent. And let's say that someone ordered them to do it, but the principal doesn't know. That's what doesn't make sense, is that if they were ordered to do it, the principal would know. That maybe we'll, like, have a similar double agent thing going on with whoever the traitor is. But I guess you were right to kind of not trust Hawks.
Yeah.
Because he does seem a little off, but it's because he's walking a very tight line of being a traitor but not a traitor, and, like, trying to get in with the baddies. So
you could argue for ages whether or not he's doing the right thing, and I guess my theory behind this is that he chose Endeavor as the kind of strong hero that Dabi wanted, because if he isn't, like, even bluffing the Hero Alliance, and he's not actually a villain pretending to be a good guy, pretending to be a villain, which I don't think he is doing. But by choosing Endeavor to be the kind of strong hero, that's stopping any civilian casualties. So if he was to kill Endeavor, he would only kill one person. So he's, like, minimalising the amount of damage that he does, because he's obviously even, like, he obviously is worried about the people, like, even at least slightly worried about the people that will be hurt while infiltrating, because he asked that question, so it must be of some concern. But I think he's going to kill Endeavor, or at least try to.
I don't know, because it's no, what I was thinking was that maybe he got Endeavor because he wants this to end quickly. He wants to gather the intel very quickly, and, like, he just wants this to be over, so he kind of brought Endeavor as, like, the very quick, like, big guns to make this end quickly. And, like, Dabi, like, for all he knows, Hawks could have just been having dinner with Endeavor and not be, like, how did he know that he was even going to bring Endeavor to the factory? Maybe the traitor told him about this meeting, but that means there's multiple traitors. There's the traitor in the school, and there's also a traitor in the Hero Association besides Hawks, because how else would he know about that meeting?
They could have someone following him.
Oh yeah, and like I think you're saying before, social media, so that's how they could see. But how would he know that he was meeting him to do that? It could just be having a general hero meeting. But
because I guess this is where he's setting up taking him to the dock. But it would make sense on Dabi having someone to follow Hawks, but also the social media would show where they are. But then he didn't realise that it was going to be a black Nomu. He didn't realise it was going to be this super strong Nomu. He thought it was going to be one of the regular ones. Oh no, but then when he was talking to... I don't think he realised how strong he was, because when he was talking to Endeavour, he was saying about this. There were like other Nomus that are appearing. So to choose Endeavour, to me anyway, it read like he was choosing someone because he didn't want many casualties, or maybe he did think it was that strong, and that's why he brought Endeavour. But what do you think he's going in? Yeah, what do you think his purpose is in visiting Endeavour?
I think he's either gonna confess, or he might. I don't think he's gonna kill him, because that seems like too extreme. But I don't know. I guess, like, something's going to happen here. Maybe he wants to try to do it again. That he wants to do, like, he needs more information. So I don't know. Like, Hawks is a big mystery, and I guess he needs to prove himself somehow. But it depends what he's willing to do, and he doesn't seem to be willing to let people die. And he seems to really look up to Endeavour. So, I don't know. Dabi also seems to have this kind of, like, weird, like, maybe tragic backstory that now they're hinting at more. Like, maybe Endeavour, like, accidentally burnt some random family when he was trying to save them. He actually made, like, a fire worse, and that's how he got his injuries.
Yeah. Did you think that Dabi's... Shoto's reaction to recognising that it was Dabi, do you think there was anything more to his... Because we got that whole panel of him remembering that it was Dabi and then his, like, shocked face. Do you think there was anything more to that? Do you think maybe he recognised... But then the camera footage was from so far away. Do you think there was anything behind that panel of Shoto?
I don't think so. I think it's actually that... I think he's probably not I don't think he's a son, because I think Endeavor would have noticed right away. He wouldn't have just been like, "You're the one who murdered Snatch." I think it's more that he's probably a victim that Endeavor probably made worse trying to save him. Like maybe he got in the way of All Might saving him because like they were competing to do the most rescues, and he made like a fire worse accidentally, and that's why he has all those injuries. So like I feel like he's not related to Endeavor, but he probably has something where like he has a big connection to Dabi that he doesn't know about. So like he's personally wronged Dabi somehow. I feel like Dabi's a victim of something.
Yeah, because last week we placed our bets of I was saying that he will be a Todoroki sibling, and you said he isn't a Todoroki sibling. When we did get those panels pointing out that even in the eye that he could use left, that his vision was still blurry. So even though he was looking at Dabi, he probably wouldn't recognise him, especially with all that beautiful scarring.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Yeah. Talking about Dabi's scarring, that panel where he's shouting and he's going towards them, and we get that cut, up the teeth, and there's the staple holding his face, and it just shows that the scar goes right the way up. It's really brutal. What happened to him?
Oh, the scar when he's talking and like the. Oh yeah. Is this the one beside where she does she's doing the cool pose, and he has glorp coming out of his mouth? Page 243 or pages 50 to 51, is that what you mean?
Yes, that's exactly the one.
Yeah, that's a weird shot, 'cause it's just barely holding it together. Like you can really feel like the cinch of the skin. It's like something bad happened to him.
Yeah, like the skin is being torn apart, but you can see the muscle fibers underneath.
Yeah, and just like keep doing your thing. That's the thing. Is like, what is Endeavor's thing? Keep saving people, or is that just like keep being an asshole? Like, how much does Dabi know? Like the way he refers to him as Mr. Number One Hero. I guess maybe Dabi just is really good at getting under people's skin, but
possibly his last line there, where he's saying that he thought too much about it and went crazy, led me off on a mental health tangent, but like in regards to their quirks, and it made me think, like, how is mental health affected by their quirks? Because like we know with Twice, for example, that he now has like a dissociative disorder, but we don't know if it's solely because of his quirk or if he probably had like that disposition beforehand. But I'm hoping that the way that Horikoshi handles it is like that they're, I don't know how to describe it.
I guess
it's like he says that he snapped and he thought about things and he went mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that I'm wondering if it's like the quirks and the quirks effect are leading to people sort of losing their temper more than they would do beforehand. And I just, yeah.
I wonder if Dabi used to be quirkless. That could be kind of cool if he's not an Endeavor kid. He was quirkless, and then something horrible happened to him. He got horribly burned, and then he like decided to become a villain because he just hated. But no, I was gonna say that All for One gave him the power, but he already had his power when he met Shigaraki. So that doesn't make any sense. So I guess we've seen Bakugo. He's so angry, and I guess his quirk kind of makes it worse because he like blasts out his anger. So maybe he like anger issues with his flame, and that like he can't really control it. I guess like all the villains are very childlike, but not really. They're all like I guess we see more of them. They have like very much like reasons, like the society won't let them do what they want to do. And
I guess it seems that from what we know of Shigaraki, he was a victim before he became a villain, and Dabi was probably like almost definitely a victim of something before he became a villain. It's like in real life, I hope that it gets, I don't know, I hope it's not like it doesn't get linked with like mental health or make you, or like having some sort of mental issue will like push you into becoming a villain, because we know that if you have a mental health issue, you're more likely to be a victim rather than
exactly.
The attacker.
So I hope they don't go that route. And it's not just mental health, but other people who are being usually discriminated against. We've had several trans characters in the series, and some on the villain side as well. Because we've had one trans hero with Tiger, what was his name?
Tiger, yes.
Tiger. And then the magnet person, I think, is also trans. So you've had a hero and a villain.
They were dealt with really well. Because they weren't like making fun of them. Yeah.
Kind of balancing out, but it's like, I think hopefully he knows what he's doing. I hope he doesn't go like the One Piece route, where it's like, all of a sudden, oh, these people are like, I guess we don't really have that, like, really, I don't know, we don't have a Sanji here to be like transphobically horrified. So I think he'll handle it right, but it is definitely a fine line with like the mental issues. If only the villains have that, what does that mean for the series? I think I think Bakugo also could seriously benefit from anger management, and he's a hero and he wants to be a hero. I think like there's other characters who have, and I know I saw you mention on Twitter that you were like trying to look up Japanese like mental health.
So I found some statistics on it, but it's mostly to do with like suicide and that sort of thing. But even when we saw, the guy that just as we were being introduced to Hawks, there was that guy that had he had been like, he was going through like some depressive issues because he had been like fired from his job and his wife broke up with him. Then he was the one who got more powerful and more embarrassed he was. So he was going to attack his old workplace, and he just like took his clothes off and was like, I'm going to fight you now. Like, whereas if he didn't have that quirk, I doubt he would go in and just like, I'm going to blow this place up. And so I wonder if it's like an enablement for people that have those sort of anger issues, rather than people who have those issues, those sort of problems, and they just seclude themselves. So the statistics that I found was that Japan, which I think most people know anyway, it's got one of the highest suicide rates in the industrial world. So like in 2013, its suicide rate stood at 21.4 deaths per 100,000 people, whereas in other industrial countries it was 12.7 deaths per 100,000, like on average. So that's a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
And the subject used to be very taboo, but now I did find another it was a World Health Organization article from 2015 saying that there's a lot of suicide prevention things that have been put in place by the government. So like they brought in like a Suicide Prevention Act, they've created forums so people discuss it, they've created new policies, and so the number of suicides has fallen, but mostly for middle-aged people and elderly, because those between 15 and 29 is still sort of the same. But I wonder if the mental health issues, if you've got a quirk, that could help you commit suicide. Because like if you had like a fire ability and you were like, this is too much, you could just set where you live on fire and maybe burn yourself down if it gets so hot. Because like Endeavour's in all those bandages probably because he's burnt himself from going too hot. But I don't know. Well, I read that line from Dabi and I got a bit just a little bit concerned that mental health would be really like associated with the villains, especially after Twice as well.
And I know, like, you touched on suicide, so I want to try to just, like, if you're struggling with that, I think, like, definitely talk to somebody. I'm just doing this just because I think we should have if we're going to talk about that. Talk to someone about it. There's crisis centers, like, available 24/7. A number that there's no, like, international numbers. It's all, like, specific countries. But here's...
Yeah, there are charities everywhere that you can, like, reach out to or go and visit your GP.
This is one for the States. 1-800-273-8255.
I do think quirks would really like affect it though, because if you live in a world where 80% of people have a quirk and you don't have one, maybe people would like look down at you and be like, ugh, you're not as evolved as us.
Yeah. So like,
and like make people feel more down than maybe they would do before. So it's just like it's like an enabler for your possible issues that you have.
And I wonder, could Recovery Girl like kiss your depression away? Like, how can she help with mental health issues? Like, that's what I wonder about. But it's like that's such a complicated thing that probably not.
No, because she says that you use your body uses its own stamina to heal itself. So even if you've got depression that's caused by irregular hormones, like an imbalance of hormones, stamina's not going to help with that. Like, it's not going to speed up your. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It made me think about that. I thought it was quite interesting. But do you think that?
I trust Horikoshi to handle it well.
Yeah. Do you think that when Dabi was saying that he thought about he thought about Satch's comments about, oh, do you ever worry about their family? Do you ever think about their families? And they think, yeah, I thought about so much I went a bit mad. So he had his. That is another thing that could help. It helps the Todoroki sibling theory. So like maybe he thought about his family issues so much it drove him mad, and maybe he inflicted those wounds on himself.
Yeah, I think it is
could be
that
self-harm.
I think it's like kind of reiterating that. I think like it affects him because like he was one of those families. Like I think that's why.
Yeah. So this has been our 5th episode. You can find me at Chopper's Left Antler on Twitter. You can find us on at My Hero Academia podcast, and you can email us at what's our email?
myheropod@gmail.com, right?
And we can find you.
You can find me at Sniper of My Heart on Twitter. And my Tumblr, because I almost accidentally said it, is Words Dear. And that's all, folks. Don't forget to go beyond
Plus
Ultra. Yay!
This is My Hero Academia Plus Ultra. Manga, anime, news and more. Plus Ultra.
If she would be able to use Dupliarms at all. The Dupliarm work. Shezo, you know, he has...
Strong his heart is. I wrote down his heat. I was like, what if I'm doing this in Google Documents, and I still can't manage to write stuff. The seeing students outside UA reminds me, and Mineta Minari? Who's Minari? I don't know who that is.
Mineta is it Mineta's surname that you wrote down?
What's Mineta's last name?
I can't. Mineta's Minori, Minoru, because Jiro says that it reminds her how famous they are, and then maybe he wrote Minori because that is his surname. No, sorry, Minori's his first name, Mineta's his second name.